Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this. Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Every time I say it, it's going to suck even more.
Everyone's idiots.
I am Nadella. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host. My name is Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hey.
And we are here to talk all things tech this week, and of course last week, and what happened. Because we, let's be real. I'll be honest with you, listener. I was in a D&D campaign having a lot of fun, and someone else was at Disneyland.
I was at Disneyland having a lot of fun.
So it landed, he wasn't as cool as us, but doing something. What did you do? Something? Come on, Landon.
And
No.
Landon looks dejected.
I was home, ready to record, all by my lonesome.
Oh, my lonesome.
He sat in front of the microphone for 2 hours.
Just sitting here.
Just waiting.
Oh.
Are you guys getting on yet, or no? Well, listener, let's go ahead. Let's get into this, shall we? Looks like first on here, we got some Apple news. First thing, Apple admits they don't have intelligence. I actually didn't read that before. I should have read that before. Let me start again, listener.
No. I think we want the unfiltered version of all of these reads here.
I tried. All right, take it away.
Yeah, so Apple, last week, it came out that Apple, for their updated super smart Siri, that I'm sure is going to really be impressive when it happens, is going to be using Gemini.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not going to be using an Apple-built LLM or anything like that. They have in fact just partnered with Google, and they will be using Gemini. And Elon Musk was really upset about it on Twitter,
Which is so funny because there's no way ever that Apple is even going to consider using Grok, because that's just so stupid.
Listen, Elon, I'm not sure if you've noticed, nobody wants to touch Grok with a 1,000-foot pole right now. Generally for good reasons. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what'll be coming at some point, is basically a Siri powered on the back end by Gemini. Neat, I guess. I still think the concept of an LLM based, like, quote unquote virtual assistant chatbot type thing is fundamentally flawed, because it'll sound more natural. Will it do more things more reliably? No. In fact, in terms of actual usability, it'll probably be worse.
Will it, though, than Siri?
Okay. I mean, in the case of Siri, it's really hard for something to be worse. I will grant you, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I will say, currently, I actually do have Siri set up with the past catchphrase and everything on my phone. I occasionally use it for, like, setting alarms and reminders and that sort of thing. But the minute that they bake an LLM into it, I'm turning that off. I don't want that to pop up and just be like, because it's already kind of obnoxious. I'm barely tolerating it now. This isn't going to help. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Is there, just question, I never thought of this. Is there like a reliable source to show like who's actually using these AI, like whether it's Grok or Gemini or whatever, that shows people using it, like reliable? You know what I mean?
So the most reliable source that I have heard about whether or not people are actually using AIs is a survey that was done of, I guess, it was just CEOs of companies over a certain size. I can't remember if it was just CEOs of Fortune 500 companies or if they included other companies as well that were just like above a certain threshold in terms of the size of the corporation. But they did a survey of like hundreds of CEOs. And basically it was just a series of questions trying to gather, have adding AIs to your workforce's workflows and making them available for your employees improved the efficiency of their work. And over half said they did nothing, right? That it made no difference.
Okay.
And then there was like 8 or 7 or 8% that said that it was actively worse. And then there was, well, no, okay, I'm trying to remember exactly how the breakout was, but it essentially was that more than half of the responses were negative in some way, shape, or form. And then there was another semi-majority that was like pretty ambivalent, that was just like, I mean, it doesn't really seem to be improving things, but it's not making things worse. It's kind of just like, what did we even do?
Yeah.
Certainly not a tool worth paying for if it hasn't improved anything. And then there was like 10% or so that were like, yes, it has improved efficiency. It didn't say what AI tools they were deploying, though.
They just umbrellaed it.
Yeah, just AI in general. So I don't really know. I have not seen anything that does like a comprehensive review of which companies' tools are being deployed for stuff like this. And in terms of the actual user counts, I think it's all kind of useless because the majority of people who are using AI aren't paying for it. You can hear Sam Altman whine about that on the internet all the time if you want to.
Yep.
And because they're not paying for it, I think that it seems generally true to me from what I have seen that if you have one AI app downloaded, you probably have all of them downloaded. Right? Yeah. Like if you downloaded ChatGPT, you probably also downloaded Gemini and probably also downloaded Grok and probably also downloaded Copilot and stuff like that. Like and Claude and whatever. It's like if you're using one of them, you've probably used all of them and you probably jump back and forth between them. So how do you even say who's using what? I don't know.
Yeah, like from what I've understood about people that are using AI on any sort of regular basis, it's like Caleb said, they kind of jump around. They use this AI for this thing. They use this one for this thing. They use certain ones for certain specific things. And the people that are really getting good use out of AI are using it for very specific things. They're not just doing it as a broad, okay, I'm just going to use AI for everything. No, they're doing it for very specific things. And those type of people are genuinely getting really good use out of it. But again, it's for very specific things.
Well, and generally speaking, the people who are getting the best use out of it aren't using like ChatGPT, right?
Right. They're using like Claude for the most part is one I hear the most, I think.
Well, it's not even necessarily that they're using like Claude or anything. It's that they're taking the algorithm, like they're taking OpenAI's training models and then they're using their own data to train their own models to do something very specific, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not even so much, hey, they're not really accomplishing stuff with ChatGPT, but they're using ChatGPT's model, like base model, with their own training data to generate something that is useful for an extremely specific use case kind of thing. Those seem to be the most successful, which kind of tracks because this is sort of how we've used like evolutionary AI like algorithms for years.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people thought that it would be fine to just take this black box approach and throw it at general intelligence and have something useful come out of it.
Yeah, it's like I agree with that completely because it's like if you look at what Google did for the past 10 years, specifically look at what they've done with Google Photos.
Yeah.
And what they did with their camera and stuff like that. They were using, they weren't calling it AI back then, but it's basically the same technology.
Yeah. They were using self-learning kind of like, learning algorithms to do that.
Yeah. Right. But they were doing it for very specific use cases and they were just advertising, hey, we've got these new features and they worked great, but they weren't calling it AI and it was fine. But now, because for some reason, all these companies think, oh, we just need to make a general use case AI. It's like, no, you really don't. What you need to do is take the technology and put it into very specific use cases to make those features better.
Yep.
And that's where it actually is useful for everybody.
Yeah. Because, like, that's the thing that I don't think people understand is I don't want an AI, like, I don't want these self-learning algorithms applied to a general purpose LLM, because what that means is, hey, we've taken this thing that's supposed to give you answers to questions, and we've trained it on the entire content of Reddit. That's not helpful. Like, yes, I recognize that all of Wikipedia is also in there, but that's, like, it's just going to confuse everything.
Yeah.
Like, if 50% of the answers that I get are just some random shit post pulled off of Reddit, it's not helpful.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not helpful. So, yeah, I think that's true. It's not that, like, the underlying technology is problematic. It's the way that they're using it is just so boneheaded.
There.
See, that's where I kind of do have some hope with what Apple's doing, because the way I think about how the way they're doing it is they're just going to take the back end of Gemini. I don't think you're going to see any sort of Gemini branding anywhere on an iPhone once this comes out. It's all going to be Apple Intelligence, because they're taking the back end and then they're going to put it into the iPhone. And yes, they're going to have Siri's going to be their quote unquote general AI type thing. But I'm hoping they're going to do like what Google has done on the Pixel, where yes, they also have Gemini as a general AI type thing there, but they also have added a lot of really helpful and beneficial features inside of the phone. And I think I'm hoping Apple will also, I mean, if they do what they claimed Apple Intelligence was going to do before, that's what it sounds like it's going to be. So I'm hoping that's what happens. And then they're just going to use the back end to teach it to do certain features on the phone.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to actually be helpful for users.
Well, and I think that, like, that it would be really nice if that's the world that happened. Because I think that what was preached as quote unquote Apple Intelligence back when they first announced it was a list of features and intended uses that were made up by the user interface guys. Right? Who actually know how users use their interface.
Yeah.
And the features they actually want and stuff. Turns out nobody who was actually developing the software was consulted with that. So that's why the disconnect. That's why none of these features exist in Apple devices at this time. But so long as, like, that kind of guiding principle can continue to exist with the implementation of their tools going forward, then yeah, we might actually get something useful at the other end. But so much of the development of these AI tools is driven by the type of person who, like your Elon Musks out there, who have reinvented the concept of the train so many times over the past, like, 6 years or so, that and then pretended every single time like they had, like, oh my gosh, I came up with this crazy new idea. Like remember the Boring Company and the Hyperloop, right? Like these concepts that Tesla was going to be doing. It's like, yeah, we're gonna drill these tunnels and we're going to put self-driving autonomous Teslas on them that will pick you up at a station and drive you around. It's going to be, like, super fast. And I'm just sitting there watching this keynote thinking, that's a subway. That's a subway. You're literally describing a subway, except worse. Like, this is a subway, but less reliable. And turns out the Teslas aren't even self-driving anyways. So like the whole thing, that's the kind of person who is doing this. They don't know what people want or what people need or what people will use or how they'll use them. And they're the ones that are calling the shots on this. So no wonder it's all terrible. So yeah, it would be really nice if we could get somebody like the UX designers at Apple to go, hang on, why don't we actually try and take the technology and make something useful out of it? We'll see if it works. We'll see. I don't necessarily have a ton of hope these days because, you know, Apple isn't always my favorite company, as we'll get into. But, you know, it's... Anyways, But yes,
Sorry
they
for that tangent.
they don't have intelligence. Google has intelligence, apparently, and they're going to buy it from them.
There you go. All right, next thing on here. Apple becomes the evil they swore to defeat.
Yeah, they're Adobe now. So,
Jeez.
Yep.
Remember when Adobe did the whole like Creative Cloud? It's a subscription now. Forget your CS5 and your CS4 and whatever. Apple has announced what did they call it? The Creator subscription or something like that.
Apple Creator Studio.
Yeah, Creator Studio, where they've basically they're taking all of their pro level software and wrapping it all into a subscription. Which, okay. On the one hand, Apple does make some extremely powerful pieces of software for professional creative workflows. You got your Logics, you've got your it's just Motion, right? Or Motion FX or something like that.
They got Final Cut Pro, Logic,
and Final Cut Pro.
Pixelmator is included in this.
Oh, right. Pixelmator's in there now, too.
They do have one called Compressor.
That's what I was trying to think of. So, like they have some of these tools that are like industry standards used by, hundreds, thousands of creative professionals. And Apple traditionally sells them to you for a couple $100, and then you have like a lifetime subscription to it because they don't change up their version numbers, right? They're not like, okay, we're going to do V3 or V4 of whatever. You have to buy or upgrade to it or something like that. And the reason why they've never done that, right, is because selling software is not Apple's business model. They tried doing that back in the 90s. It almost made them bankrupt. What Apple does is they make software that is included and free to try and sell you their hardware platforms.
Yep.
That's what it always has been, right? Like you used to have to pay for the iWorks suite, for Pages and Numbers and the presentation one, just Keynote. Like you used to have to pay for those, but then they made them free as kind of a bonus, right? Like buy our super expensive, massively overpriced computers and you get this free software. You get free OS updates. You get free, stuff like that. And I've got to say, that's always been one of the big perks of being an Apple customer is that, I can show up here and honestly, one of the best easy to use page layout software platforms on the planet is Pages. It's just good. Okay. And same thing like with Numbers, because let's be honest, vast majority of home users are not using Excel to do these incredible detailed financial spreadsheets or something like that, the way that Excel is designed for. And Numbers is not that. You want to know what Numbers is really good at? Graphs. That's what Numbers is for. It makes really pretty graphs and it makes them really easily you can just copy data into a sheet, select the sheet, say graph, and you can get some really nice looking graphs out of that pretty easily. And then Keynote is just, it's what they use to make all of their keynotes out of, it's good presentation software, right? Really nice stuff to have for free. And so far, this looks like it's only going to affect the pro users, right? But they have announced that there's a few features that they're going to be adding to Pages and Numbers and Keynote that are going to be a part of this subscription. Not the actual software pieces themselves, just the features that they're adding. These features are all AI related. So currently for the average user, there's no reason to even look at this subscription, right? Just there's no point. Currently, you can still use your Office programs without it. And GarageBand and iMovie, nobody's said a thing, right? Like nobody has said a thing about either of those. But if you're using any of their pro level tools, just recognize that from here on out, you're still going to be able to use it, right? What you have currently downloaded will still work fine, but no new features will be coming to it. And if you want the new features that they add to their stuff, you're going to have to pay the subscription. like you would if you were on an Adobe thing. I guess the difference is, at the very least, Apple does pay attention to the pieces of software other than their photo editor.
Yeah.
So,
And
they don't
also
crash.
the other nice thing about this one is it's $13 a month for everything. Whereas if you want everything from Adobe, you're spending like $100 a month almost.
Oh, yeah. And half of those aren't even supported pieces of software anymore.
Yeah.
So
seriously.
So yeah, it's not as bad as Adobe, but this is just, I see it as like a reminder to sort of just pay attention to the thing that we have been saying on this podcast since day one, that it's very important as a consumer of technology to never get so embedded into an ecosystem that you can't shop somewhere else, right? Like, if I needed to move away from all of these things, what would I lose right now, right? This is like what I need to examine, what would I lose right now? And for me personally, what I would lose is mostly GarageBand. Like if I had to move away from GarageBand, it would be a giant pain in the butt to try and move the projects that I have there to something else.
Yeah.
So it's like I basically would have to just finish all of the projects that I have open in GarageBand right now and then start learning a different DAW, if I needed to switch. So that it's just kind of just a reminder, if you're an Apple user, this is just a moment in time where you need to think to yourself, how embedded am I in this ecosystem? Can I shop somewhere else? And if you feel like you can't, maybe start re-examining the way you're using some of this stuff to try and get back to that point.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that like you said before, where Apple always has their software there available for you to get you to buy the hardware. I do think that's going to still be the case for the most part, especially when it comes to the iWork software, and GarageBand is another. GarageBand is one of those things that
GarageBand sells devices. I think Apple knows it.
Yes, like it sells their computers, it sells iPads. Like GarageBand is that software that does definitely get you to buy a Mac.
Yep. And
it is also the software that gets you to start paying or start thinking about getting Final Cut it's Logic is their audio.
Logic.
Yeah. Because Logic is the professional audio software that they have versus GarageBand is really, really good, but it is limited.
Yeah.
Not much, but a little bit. I was going to
say, like the first two of Billie Eilish's albums were mastered in GarageBand.
Yeah.
Like that was what they did.
Like you can do a lot of stuff with GarageBand.
You really can. It's quite powerful.
So I would be surprised if Apple ever makes that stuff not available for free, just because it really does sell their hardware.
For sure.
But like Caleb said, don't bank on that happening. It would be shocking if it ever does, but it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, this is not a panic moment. It's just something to note. Be aware. And I will say that in the past, Apple's hardware was stupidly overpriced and you could kind of justify it because of all the included software. But, you look at some of their current machines, they're not nearly as overpriced as they used to be.
Yeah. Especially like the Mac Mini.
Their pricing is honestly so much closer to the industry norms right now and just straight up, the M4 Mac Mini continues to be the best bang for your buck in terms of raw computing power out there at all, just period. So yeah, it does kind of feel like maybe they're not subsidizing their software sales with the hardware costs quite the way that they used to, and that might be part of the impetus behind this. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it evolves in the coming years. But yeah, just a moment, just reminder, don't ever get so embedded in one place that you can't shop outside of it.
Yeah. I just thought of this. There is going to be one added benefit to them having this software, is when you do go to buy some sort of hardware like a computer, It's not going to ask you, hey, do you want to add on Final Cut Pro or
that's
Logic
true.
Pro? Although
Yes.
it probably will switch to, hey, do you want to add on Apple Creator Studio? But that's a
Yeah.
1-click no instead of a 5-click no like it has been in the past.
Yes.
And I started mentioning this before we started recording, but I was like, I'm going to save it for the podcast. I did hear somewhere, I can't remember where I heard it, but somewhere else, somebody gave me a really good reason for having at least this specifically in a subscription model. I still don't think it just like this reason doesn't justify Adobe's because theirs is ridiculously expensive, but this one makes sense, especially at $13.90 or at $12.99 a month. Like if you are somebody that needs this type of software for a project or for a couple months or something, you can just pay for the month or 2 months or something like that and get all the software you need. And then when you're done with it, you stop paying. Whereas like instead of before, you would have had to pay $400 or $500 for a piece of software that you're only going to use for a week or two or like a month or, something like that. Whereas now you spend $13, $25, $50 and you get it for a few months and then you can be done. So that is one good thing about the subscription model, at least when it comes to Apple's side of things, because it is relatively inexpensive for this software at the moment.
No, that's fair.
Fair. All right. Next topic, last topic for Apple. Apple rumored to basically be making a humane AI pin.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, this one came out this past week in the rumor mill. Apple is apparently working on an AI pin that's going to just pin onto the front of your clothes. It's going to have a microphone and some speakers going to listen to and watch everything that you're doing and interact with you. It's basically what the humane AI pin was supposed to be, except made by Apple this time. Is that going to make it better? Probably not. And I think that's kind of the end of that conversation.
The only thing I want to say is Apple, you have this product already. They're called AirPods.
Yeah.
Whenever you finally update Siri to have it have some form of maybe intelligence, it's there.
Yeah, do not make this a separate product.
This does not need to exist in a different form.
Like Apple, you thought that people weren't into the Vision Pro? I can't even compare that to this. This will be the only people who will buy this will be influencers that feel like they have to review it and people that don't feel like they have to review it but want to review it because they want to clown on it. That's it. You'll sell like 1,300 of them.
Well, and there's always that group of people that just have to buy everything Apple.
And to those people, can I just say, please stop.
Yes, seriously.
Please stop. Get some help.
It's fair. Yeah. All right. We're going to move on to some Microsoft news now. We're going to talk about Windows 11. It gets an update. Somehow it's not improved.
Yeah, so this was fun. Just a fun little tidbit to sprinkle in here. Just, Windows 11. How's things going with Windows 11? So you remember how a few months ago we talked about how they had finally updated Windows 11 to fix the bug where if you clicked update and shut down, it would update and restart and it would just never shut down. Like that just didn't work. How that's been a thing in Windows for years and they finally fixed it in Windows 11. Cool. So they most recent update made it so that they wouldn't shut down at all. Like computers just won't shut down. If you click on the shutdown button, it looks like it's shutting down and gets to most of the way shut down and then just doesn't shut down, just sits there and hangs. And then you have to do a hard reset. And what was great about this is that, so this bug was introduced in an update. They recognized it after a couple of days, pushed a new update to fix it. And it was still broken. like the second update was specifically to fix this bug. Did not fix this bug. And that's the state of development on Windows 11. in a nutshell. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Ugh.
I'm really enjoying Linux, I've got to say.
Man. Doesn't at all make me want to upgrade. Jeez. Well, since we're on this Microsoft train, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I figured I'd bring it up just to see what comments we get from my other hosts here. Microsoft came out with a community-first AI infrastructure. So Satya Nadella is he's an interesting fella, but he also had Brad Smith come out, the vice chair, president of Microsoft. They kind of came out and talked about AI and how they're going to make this a community-first AI infrastructure with 5 bullet points. We're going to talk about those 5. Number 1, first bullet point, that we, as if the Microsoft says, we'll pay our way to ensure our data centers don't increase your electricity prices. That's the first bullet point. Now, do you want me to continue all of them and then we'll kind of discuss, or do you want to go one by one?
But listen, I don't have anything to say to that besides that's a good lie, Satya. Just love it.
All right, next. Number 2, we'll minimize our water use and replenish more of your water than we use.
How? What? That's the most nonsensical thing I think I've ever heard, especially coming from a company that I know for a fact is building data centers in Arizona. There's no water there to begin with. How? What are you just going to suck it out of the air? Oh my gosh.
It's like Microsoft, I know you know how data centers work because you have a lot of them already.
Yes.
So...
But you got to remember, Satya gave up a lot of his CEO stuff to other people, so he's not really...
He hasn't been to a data center in a while.
Work.
Yeah. Number 3, we'll create jobs for your residents.
The stated purpose of AI is to get rid of jobs. Satya, that's literally the point. That's what all you tech bros have been saying. Make up your mind.
Hey, he needs 3 people to keep an eye on the data center every once in a while.
It is creating more jobs right there. Number 4, we'll add to the tax base for your local hospitals, schools, parks, and libraries.
That only works if you actually pay your corporate taxes, Microsoft. But I'm pretty confident you have an entire budgetary wing of your finance department dedicated to finding tax loopholes. So maybe get rid of that, and then we can talk.
And the fact that you only build data centers in places that give you tax reductions to build these places in their communities.
Exactly.
And number 5, we'll strengthen your community by investing in local AI training and nonprofits.
Who wants that?
Nobody. Not a single person wants that. Satya, it's slop. It's all slop. It's slop training. Nobody wants your slop.
Micro slop, remember?
Micro slop.
Micro slop.
Yeah, no, I heard that for the first time this week, and it was in the context of somebody saying, oh, Satya doesn't like it when you call them micro slop, and they released a statement basically saying, hey, stop saying this.
Yeah.
And so then the news reported on it, and I was like, this is quintessential Streisand effect. I hadn't even heard the term until somebody reported on them asking people not to say it. And now it's the only thing that I'm going to say. Microslop is now the name of the company.
So I just wanted to bring up those 5-point community first AI infrastructure that
ridiculous.
Microsoft is trying to push this year. So yeah, those were the 5 points. I just wanted to see the comments from you guys is what I wanted, to be totally honest.
I will say Microsoft has a really good marketing part of the company.
Yeah. Yikes. So
yes,
that was it. That's really it. I didn't have any other to say other than, that's how I felt the same. But I was just like, wow, I feel this needs to be said on the podcast. Just community first AI infrastructure. I mean, I'm almost wanting to copy paste that to some kind of tech to our little CAP awards here, like worst tech name or worst keynote, something community first AI infrastructure. But I don't know where to put it. But
HP printer worst platform of the year.
Seriously.
We'll figure it out. I was like,
we'll have to ponder on that one.
It's almost worth changing the name of the award to the community first platform, worst platform of the year.
I mean,
or maybe we need to broaden out the worst keynote of the year to just the worst announcement of the year or something like that.
Brought to you by Community First AI Infrastructure. All right, we'll move on. Got some general tech news here. And Landon, cue the music.
Listener, it's a sad day. Because something has died. We did report on this last week, or the last episode. But at that time, we had some hopes of it returning. But it's official. Asus has announced that they will no longer be making phones at all.
Ugh. Dang it.
And it's just sad.
Too bad.
Because Asus, as much as to be fair, they probably didn't sell a lot of phones, but their phones were great. The ROG phones were always fun, interesting, super powerful type phones. And then the Zen phone was just great, at least from the 9 previous. The 10 was not worth it.
Yeah, 10 was dumb.
But the 9 and before that were all great because they were a nice compact phone with all the high-end specs for a good price. And unfortunately, as this quote from Asus's chairman, I'm not even going to say his name, but he said,
Chairman.
Asus will no longer add new mobile phone models in the future. And that's kind of very straightforward and right to the point.
Yep. Yeah. Sucks because those are one of our favorite ones to talk about.
They were.
Yeah.
I always like talking about the ROG phones, especially because they were just, like I said, they were fun, cool phones.
Yeah. I really need the people making the Android phones that tempt me to stop dying.
Seriously.
Back in the day it was HTC, and then it was LG, then it was Asus. Currently it's okay, we've got the Razer foldables, and then now the Clicks communicator are the Android phones I'm looking at, and I'm actually though.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to need one of y'all to stick around for a couple of more years just in case Apple completely craps the bed. I need somewhere to go if that happens.
Right. Yeah. Dang it. Asus will be missed. Your phones.
Yeah, I was going to say the company's still around, presumably, but
they're going to be moving all their people that worked on the phone hardware over to, AI stuff that nobody cares about.
Gosh dang
it. AI?
I don't know. Oh. Probably not. They haven't said that. I'm just assuming that's what's going to happen.
I mean, that's not a bad assumption.
I was kind of hoping it would be more to the handhelds or something Well, we'll see. I'm sure they'll communicate that later. All right, moving on. Next thing here on General Tech, where one brand dies, another is given another chance at life.
Yeah, listener, this is actually potentially good news. So probably a month or two ago, we talked about how Nova Launcher, the company that owned Nova Launcher, had basically said, yeah, we're not going to do anything else with that. And they told the founder of Nova Launcher to just basically pack his bags and get out, more or less, because they didn't want to update anymore. But there has now been some new news that Nova Launcher was acquired by, it says, an analytics firm called Branch. Oh, no, that was the company that did buy him before. There's a new company that is buying Nova launcher from them. And I don't remember what the company was called, but they said that they will actually keep Nova Launcher alive, and they haven't mentioned a whole lot about updates so far, and they didn't say anything about keeping on the original developer for Nova Launcher. I hope they hire him, because what else is he going to do right now? But the unfortunate thing there, though, is that it does sound like they're going to be adding ads to the free version of Nova Launcher, which is unfortunate. They do have a paid version. I think it's like $3 a month, I think, or maybe it might just be. I don't think it's just a $3 one-time purchase. But either way, it's not ridiculously expensive, and the people that love Nova Launcher are probably going to be okay paying for it, because it is a really good launcher for Android. But I'm glad, though, that it is not going to be dying, at least not yet. It will be living on for the foreseeable future. So for those of you that were worried about Nova Launcher going away and trying to figure out what you were going to do with your phone, now you don't have to worry so much.
Cool. Nice to see you get another chance. All right. Next topic. Tesla makes customers incredibly happy, wins back all lost goodwill.
Yeah, for sure. That totally happened. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. Opposite. The exact opposite of that.
I was going to say, I don't remember hearing anything about something good Tesla did.
No. What they have done is announced that Autopilot, which was the software-based fusion of adaptive cruise control and sophisticated lane keep functionality that has been a part of Tesla's vehicles since the beginning, that has honestly made them some of the most, primo cars for, long-distance cruising on the highway and stuff like that. Yeah, they're canceling that. Autopilot doesn't exist anymore. So what this means for Tesla owners is that when you buy the car, what you will get is adaptive cruise control, and that's it. Okay? All of the hardware for Autopilot is still there. Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Hardware is still in the car, will be in all of future cars. However, in order to access it, you have to pay the monthly subscription for full self-driving, which is not, to be clear, full self-driving.
No.
It's just adaptive cruise control fused with lane keeping assist.
Gotcha.
It's just good. Yes. Thanks, Tesla. This is what was really needed to save your flagging image. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I know exactly why this happened. Because Elon Musk has signed a deal with the board of Tesla, that would see him getting a $1 trillion bonus if he's able to hit a certain number or a certain set of performance metrics by 2035. And one of them is a specific number of subscribers to full self-driving. So they've canceled Autopilot because Autopilot was what most people wanted. Autopilot was good enough for most people, and they were just paying for it with the purchase of their car. And so, yeah, they've gotten rid of that so that they can try and get those people to convert over to full self-driving. If you have a Tesla and you're about to be losing Autopilot, can I just say, there are other cars that will do adaptive cruise with lane keeping assist.
Yep.
Might not be quite as good as Autopilot, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And maybe just get a new car. Tesla's just not the place to be for the foreseeable future. It's just, especially since they opened up the supercharger network. You can still supercharge your other electric cars on the Tesla superchargers if you want. That's totally fine. So,
yeah. Also, my recommendation as well would be, if you are really wanting something that in the future might have full self-driving, because again, like Caleb said, that's not a thing at the moment. Despite what Elon Musk will tell you, it's not a thing.
Nope.
But if you're looking for a car that might eventually get that sometime in the future, maybe look to a brand that's not just using cameras. Look at a brand that's using LiDAR in its cars, because I think it was
We
Rivian.
talked about the Mark Rober video where he drove through a solid wall with a Tesla.
Well, that's a great reason. Yes, go watch that video.
That was a fun watch.
That's a good reason why LiDAR is the way to go. But no, I think it's Rivian announced in all of their Gen 2 vehicles that they're coming out with here shortly, and Gen 3 as well, are going to have LiDAR sensors in them, because the LiDAR technology has gotten so inexpensive and much smaller that they can afford to just put it in all the vehicles now, just as part of the thing. It's like where it used to cost like 10 or more grand for that LiDAR technology to be put in a vehicle, it's now down to like hundreds, if not maybe at most $1,000 to do it. So,
wow.
So listener, if you're interested in eventually having something like that, look into the companies that are putting LiDAR in their vehicles, because that is actually the right kind of technology you want to have full self-driving.
Wait a second. You're telling me a car company is adding functionality to a new model year of car without jacking up the price over the previous version?
Yeah.
That Tesla could never.
No,
I don't think they even know how. The prices have to go up and the feature set has to go down. That's the only way Tesla knows how to operate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very different. Anyways, Tesla has made their customers incredibly unhappy and lost even more goodwill. Is what actually happened.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sarcasm. Sorry I didn't catch it. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to get into some gaming, and Xbox had their Developer Direct. Did either of you see or watch or just see what games came out?
I watched the little video about Fable that showed some Fable gameplay. And I've got to say, quite reassuringly, does appear to be a Fable game. So that's good.
I mean, sometimes you need that reassurance.
You do. It's like the thing that I loved about watching it is that the developers are like, but we understand. Like, yes, there's a big, expansive, epic fantasy storyline that you get to play in and that kind of thing. But we know why you're all actually here. You can buy all of the houses. You can buy all of the businesses and employ the people around you. You can start a family in this city, and you can start a family in this city, and you can start a family in this city. And if any of them ever finds out about each other, you're going to get divorced at least once and stuff like that. Like, they're just like, yes, we understand big epic fantasy story is happening, but also The Sims is also happening on the other side, and you get both. And I'm like, yep, that's a Fable.
That's Fable.
They fabled. Fable. All right. Good job.
Yep. Yes. Big one, obviously Fable. A lot of people, that was the one that they liked. If you're not into Forza, which is another one that people like, but Fable was kind of the bigger one that people were talking about. It's Playground Games. They're the ones that do make Forza. They went ahead and made this as well. Seems like it's going to be coming out actually released, they said autumn 2026. Didn't give a date, but autumn 2026. So awesome. Everyone's trying to make it a point that it's also coming to PlayStation 5. Aren't we at the point where
I thought we were just assuming they were all coming to PlayStation? Like, I don't know why people are upset about that.
Okay. Anyway. We'll move on. We don't need to add to that. So the next big game, same company, is Forza Horizon 6. We already knew that everyone that's been talking about this, they've been wanting to go to Japan. It's gonna be in Japan. It's on there. People are excited. They said that this is going to be the largest and densest map of any Horizon game to date, which is expected because it's the newest game and you need to go bigger and better. So
yep. That is usually how that works.
This is how you sell software, people. This is coming out on Xbox and PC May 19th. They did say that it will come out to PlayStation 5 months later once they have the PlayStation 5 port ready. So, and then one that just, wow, Double Fine. Double Fine was kind of the mysterious one that came out, and they made a game called Kiln. And just, it makes me laugh. So this Kiln is, in a nutshell, you are making pottery, and then you use the pottery that you make to battle royale your opponent's pottery to go destroy their kiln. So that when their kiln is destroyed, they can't make more pottery to fight against you. This is from Double Fine.
That tracks, actually.
So, I didn't know.
Weird.
I love these
but
games.
I'm intrigued.
Right. I love these types of games. Like, it's just hilarious. Like,
yeah.
Friggin' awesome. This is coming out summer 2026 on there. So, coming obviously to Xbox, PC, PlayStation 5. But it is a multiplayer game, so you can get on, play, create your pottery, and it's pretty funny. And then, let's see, they had those, and then they also had another game called Beast of Reincarnation. This was a very Japanese-oriented game. Really interesting. Has to do something with plants and creatures, and if you want a better description, I would go and watch it. But it is a big game. A lot of people were talking about this because it is usually what is the makers here? They're the ones that made the Pokemon games.
Game Freak.
Game Freak.
Is that? Yeah.
That made this, and so this is their step towards making something else than Pokemon.
Interesting.
So it is interesting. You can go ahead and take a look at it on there too. So those were the games that they had announced at the Developer Direct. Kind of works.
Yeah.
So not to lie,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping for maybe a little bit of Fallout, something.
Well,
I'm a nerd for that. So, but I'm not disappointed. Like,
I was going to say that's mostly pretty good. I feel like there was nothing in there that seemed like horribly out of touch, like that psychedelic freaking bizarre COD trailer that they had in last year, whenever that was.
That was
so
pretty
weird.
Crazy.
No, this was all pretty straightforward and just kind of like, yes, this is what we wanted. Thank you.
Yes. So worked out. And that was all the games, and that looks like that's it for our gaming section. And now, listener, for this next section, one of our most favorite, our Doom section.
That's right. It's time to talk about everyone's favorite people on the internet. This one, piece of news, is actually a couple of weeks old, right around the turn of the new year when this one came out. Doom on a screensaver. Because why not? So, to be clear, this isn't actually the first time that this has been a thing. Back when Doom was young, even, people were making screensavers that were based on Doom, and in fact, screensavers in which you could even play a little bit with the screensaver version of Doom. However, none of them had the entire game fully playable inside the screensaver itself. And that's what this is. You can play through all of Doom using nothing but a single .scr file, which is the screensaver file format. Hasn't really been a common use for ages. Like, listener, when was the last time you actually deliberately set up a screensaver on your computer? I'll bet you it's been a while. So yeah, that's the thing that exists now. You can just you could
Yep.
just set it to turn on and then just sit there and play Doom. And I appreciate like a few things about this that were, because, you know, what's the point of a screensaver? It comes from the CRT days when if you had a single static element on your computer screen for long enough, it would burn into the phosphors on the TV or on the screen itself. And that was a problem. So screensavers prevented that from happening. We got out of it with the LED LCD era of screens because, they don't burn in. But OLEDs do a little bit sometimes, not as bad as CRTs did, but you can, depending on the OLED and the technology used, you can still have an issue. And so instead of just making Doom playable in a CRT or in a screensaver, which would on an OLED display still potentially cause burn-in because the actual HUD elements would still be static on it, he removed the HUD, like completely changed the way the heads up and player information and everything is displayed in the game so that it is not static and it does in fact move around as you move. Also set it up so that if you don't play with it, right, like you don't interact with the game, it's going to run through the demos that shipped with Doom so that there is still action and movement happening on the screen. And then optimized it like a whole bunch to make sure that it wasn't using much CPU, wasn't really taking up much RAM. Like it's a screensaver. It should behave as a screensaver. And that is so much more work than I feel like needed to be put into this. But the guy who did this, William Suleiman, I'm not sure where that name is from, and I'm probably butchered it, but that's okay. But yeah, he put in the work, and I love that. That's what makes Doom modders the best people on the internet. So there you go. Doom on a screensaver. Off to a good start in 2026.
One of my favorite screensavers I had was a Doom screensaver, except it was on one of my old, like, when tablets first came out. I can't remember what the tablet was, but it was a Doom screensaver. So when it go there, what it would do is you'd watch a Doom guy go, and then they bring in the monsters, and he'd be able to kill them, and then another monster come, but they could kill him and then respawn. And I don't know why. I could sit there and watch that. I'm like, I should probably get back to work. But this is awesome.
Yeah. Well, but now you can play it.
I know, but now you can play it. Doom modders, we salute you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of the episode, listener, unless, Landon, you got one more thing for us? Yahoo!
I do have one more thing. Now, listener, this is something I've had to talk about for probably a month now. But because of special episodes and breaks and whatnot, I haven't brought it up yet. Now is the time. And there actually is the right time because there's other news to go along with this product as well. But, listener, you might remember a day when, well, actually, you might not remember a day when Sony made phones that people actually wanted to buy. It's been a while. Long while. Since before this podcast, really. But they used to, at one point, they had a phone. This was early smartphone days, around 2010. They made a phone that had the screen would slide out, and it had a built-in controller. So you could play your PlayStation games on this phone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was called, but...
Oh, yeah.
I had a friend that actually had this phone because he was a big PlayStation guy. He's like, sweet, I can play my games. And then he got the phone and he realized the phone wasn't that great and the playing on it was also not that great. So he was stuck with a phone for a while that he didn't love because of the idea that could have been really good, but it really wasn't. But there is now a company that is again trying this feature with a screen that slides up and gives you a full controller with a D-pad and the A, X, Y, B buttons, and even not a joystick, but little touch-sensitive pads that can mimic a joystick. And that company is Ayaneo. They have announced the Pocket Play, as they are calling it, and it looks great. But looks are not everything. As I mentioned with the Sony phone, it's not a great phone. It's not a great gaming experience. Now, I do have more faith that this will be a better phone and a better gaming experience just because Ayaneo has some experience when it comes to making pocketable gaming devices.
Yeah.
Not so much the phone side of things, but nowadays that's really not the hard thing to get good at the moment.
Say that feels like a solved problem for the industry as a whole.
The phone itself is probably going to be fine. The problem here is we don't have any specs on the phone. And when they first launched it, they were like, here, follow us on Kickstarter and we'll tell you when it's going to go live. Like, it was supposed to go live January 13th. But before that happened, they came out and said, actually, we're going to be pushing this back a little bit. The actual, what the company actually put out, what they said, it says here, we believe it would be irresponsible to start any new project before we have fully addressed existing user concerns and verified the effectiveness of our new service processes. Development of Pocket Play continues at full speed. Once we have fulfilled our commitments to existing users and established a more mature and reliable delivery and service system, we plan to relaunch the project in a more transparent way in late January or early February. So, good news is they do still plan on releasing this, and they also plan on not doing it through Kickstarter, because people were like, wait, why are you doing it this way? This seems like a really bad way to be doing this. And they're probably right. So, at the moment, we don't have any sort of launch plans other than what they've said here, late January or early February. So that could be any time now that they will be actually trying to sell this product. But I do, like I said, it looks great. Like, it looks really cool. It's got all the stuff that you would want on a handheld gaming device in a smaller form factor, like a phone. It has the phone, but again, we don't know any of the specs inside of this device. The one thing I think they could have done better on this is they do only have one USB-C port for charging, and it is on, as it would be a phone, the bottom of the device. Right. I think it would be better if they either moved it to the side or had two, like like the ROG phones had in the past, put one on the bottom of the phone and one on the bottom of the gaming device. So it'd be on the side of the phone.
I was just going to say, who did that right? Asus.
Yep. Dang it. Yeah. So, I mean, if you were really sad about not having a new gaming type phone available for you to purchase this year, this would be the option for that.
That's true.
If it comes out. So hopefully it does. And hopefully it's actually not too bad. I do have some hope, because it's Ayaneo, that it won't be horrible, but it may not be great or even really good. It might just be fine, which is not bad, I guess, in this case. For the user that's going to be buying this thing, I think fine is fine. I don't think the people that are going to want to buy this are going to have any sort of issue with it just being okay. But we'll have to wait and see when it goes on sale and how much it costs. That's the other thing. We don't have any sort of price idea behind what this is going to be. So there's a lot of things we don't know about this. All we know is the name and what it looks like and the control features that are there. So, it could be really cool. It could be really bad. I think it's going to be fine. But that's my one more thing for this week.
Awesome. Well, dear listener, appreciate you listening. If you want to get a hold of us, you can over at our callingoutplatforms.com. Also our social media platforms there. Get a hold of us. Tell us you like hearing us. Tell us that you hate hearing my voice. Whatever you want, you can go ahead and put it on there. That's just You can also check out our YouTube channel over there on YouTube. Yeah, obviously. All right, listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.